Weekend Warriors Home Improvement Show, built by PARR Lumber. When it comes to big or small projects around the home, Tony and Corey have got the know-how and the answers to make your life just a bit easier. Here they are, your Weekend Warriors, Tony and Corey.
You know, Tony, long are the days gone where the only thing smart in your house was a timer.
What, the only thing smart in your house?
Well, in your house,
I like I like to think that there's a few other smart things. My computer is pretty smart.
Yeah, you know, smart TV. You hear
Right,
that?
but now we've got phones and, now we have smart coffee pots.
True.
I'm just saying.
Well, yeah. I mean, smart appliances. There's lots of smart appliances.
Yeah, I was in an appliance store the other day, and I was looking at a refrigerator that has this whole display on it.
Yeah.
Which is just like basically your phone. It does everything your phone does. It talks to you. It turns the lights on inside, it's pretty crazy. It's definitely.
Do you remember
wild.
Modern Family?
Of
remember
course,
that show?
yeah,
Modern
absolutely.
Family? Do you remember the episode where they got the refrigerator that had the screen on it and it talked to them?
No.
Do you remember that? It was like an AI.
Yeah, I remember.
And then
Cam ended up falling in love with it or something. Yeah.
And then they were both jealous of each other's relationship with the fridge.
With the fridge, yeah. It was funny.
I mean, I swear, we're not far off of those days where the devices that we have in our house that are smart. You know, you hear that term, smart, all the time. But what does it really mean? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're talking about the smart home. And I remember years ago, Tony and I had some people on our show from a company that's all they did.
Yes.
They did home automation. Mm-hmm. And these guys were really smart. They were way ahead of their time. They were building systems and computers with sensors and all of these things that would turn your home into a smart home.
Yes.
And it was all very confusing at that time because I've never seen it before, but he described it like this. He said, you have a car that you pay $50,000 for or whatever. Now with inflation, it's probably $100,000. But you buy this, $80,000 car. You have a keyless lock a little fob that you push a button. You get into it. It sets the seat to your liking. All your settings turn on. Your radio stations are set. Everything is smart. And your car is ready to go. But your house is totally dumb. You pull up to this $500,000 home that you own, and the only thing that clicks on is the light because there's a sensor. One of the motion sensor.
Yeah, you're still using a key in most cases to open the front door.
Right. So there are lots and lots of new products on the market and ways that you should consider in making your home smart. I've taken some steps. I know I've showed you some of the cool things that I've done around my house. But, I'll be honest, even a motion sensor
is smart. Yeah.
That can add timers. Timers are smart. Anything that requires you to physically walk over and flip a light switch. If you're coming into your house with a handful of groceries in both hands, are you going to want a light to automatically come on for you?
Right, absolutely.
Would it be nice to be able to walk up to your door and have it automatically unlock for you?
Right.
There are new things on the market today where your entry door, you've had a smart lock on your front door for years.
Sure, yep.
They are making them so advanced now that you can walk up and your phone is your key. It recognizes your phone, talks to it via whatever, Bluetooth, and it unlocks your door automatically when you walk up to it.
Very cool.
That is fantastic. My wife has a car that we can talk to Siri or Alexa and tell her to lock it. We can tell Siri to unlock it, to start it. It's really cool. So in the morning, cold morning, you want to start your car. You don't even have to walk out there, unlock it, put the key in, start it, put the heaters on. You can just tell Siri from your living room, hey, start the car. I don't want to say it because it will.
Yeah. That is cool. Very cool.
It's things like that. There are so many smart things. So let's run through some of the things that are available. We're not going to talk about specific products because, this show lives on forever. And if you listen to this show a year from now, all of those products are going to be different.
Sure.
But
yeah.
for the fact of the matter, though, is that these devices are available, and it's something to consider in your life when you're building a new home, when you're remodeling. For instance, the first one on the list is smart lighting with smart bulbs. They can be controlled remotely. You can change colors. You can use dimmers. This was one of the first things that I did when I bought my new home. I had a whole conversation with those guys at that home automation company. I have a friend who worked for Lutron, and they make a product called Caseta or Caseta. I don't really know how to pronounce it. But it is a smart device. The switch itself is a digital smart device that connects to a hub, which connects to your Wi-Fi, and you can control all the lighting from your phone. But then you can take it a step further and you can put a smart speaker. I have a HomePod. I have several HomePods in my house. And any one of those from any room in my house, I can say a command to Siri and she will do it. I can say, hey, turn on the dining room, turn on the kitchen lights, dim the living room to 50%. I can set scenes. You can program all of the lighting in that particular area or wherever. You can program all of your lighting to your specified settings. So you can play with them all. You can say, all right, I like that lamp at 20%. And I like that lamp at 30%. And that light over there, I want it to go off. And you can make this scene and you can call it movie time or whatever. Or TV. I'm watching TV. And you tell Siri that, and she changes all of the lights to your pre-programmed setting. I have one for cooking. I have one for cleaning. I tell her that I'm cleaning, and she turns on all the lights in the entire house to full blast. It's fantastic.
That is. I don't have any of that automation in my house. I don't use Siri or have a home speaker, but I'm around when you do it.
Yeah.
My brother does it at his house in Arizona, and it's very intriguing to me and very cool. It's a little step past where I'm at.
It seems very complicated. It does. When you get into it and you're like, man, all this stuff, I explain it to people and they're like, man, but it's really not. Especially with Apple's ecosphere of products that they offer, the HomePod, and they have an app called the Home app. And when you set it up, it gives you this cool little user interface on your phone, tells you how many lights are on, tells you what the climate, the temperature is, tells you which lights are on and what percentage. And I've even taken it a step further where I've purchased bulbs, these bulbs that go in that you can change the color temperature and even the color. So I can set it to
warm and sort of yellowish.
Yeah, but I can also make it green. I can make it purple or blue. I can do, there's even the newer version of these bulbs that you can do effects on. Like they'll have fire.
Oh, really?
Like
wow.
a flickering candle.
Huh.
So you can have your whole room with these bulbs like flickering like there's a warm candle burning everywhere.
Wow.
It's really cool.
That is cool.
So this is just one of those things. It sounds really complicated, but having a smart lighting setup in your home, I think is fantastic. And the next step to that, number 2, is a smart thermostat. We've talked about smart thermostats for many years.
Yeah, it fits right in with the exact same idea. It's in the same vein. If you are wanting things to do automatically what you want them to do without having to flip a switch or ask for something, thermostats, of course, can be preset to do all of those things with timers. You leave the house at 8 o'clock in the morning and it stops heating until 2 hours or so before you come home, it starts heating again to get the house back up to the temp that it was at when you left. And then you go to bed at night and it drops it down again. And it knows how to be as efficient as possible. It doesn't stop heating entirely. It just slows the heating process to get it to a point where it's using the minimum amount required in order to get right back to where you want it to be when you're out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, you remember the olden days where you'd have the actual switch with a little mercury in there, and then you would, slide that little thing up, and it would just kick on, and it was basically just a thermostat. It would get to that temperature at that particular spot in the house, and it would turn off.
Yeah.
Now they have actual smart thermostats that go beyond what you were just talking about, which is the programmable. A programmable thermostat is smarter than the old school version. But then you have these whole different ones that are called smart that connect to your Wi-Fi, that connect to your phone. Mine connects to Siri. I can tell her to make the house and the temperature in the house a specific temperature. I can say, put on the AC from wherever I want. I can set it for when I'm on vacation. I can get on my phone and say, oh, I forgot to put the thermostat or my home on vacation. I can do it from my phone. I can set it to say, all right, I'm going to be home in 5 hours. And I can turn it on and it'll be nice and warm by the time I get home.
Always one of those things you forget. It used to be you forgot the iron.
Right.
I forgot the iron. I left the iron on. Or I forgot to set the alarm.
Right. The garage.
Yeah, I forgot to close the garage
Kevin
door.
McAllister's dad forgot to close the garage door.
But with having these smart capabilities, especially if you were whole home, then you would have the ability to close the garage door even remotely. Set or disarm the alarm remotely. As a matter of fact, the next item you have on the list here is smart security systems. I think that a security system that is intuitive to your needs and not just one of those things where if you open the front door,
sensor broken.
Oh yeah. Then the alarm goes off and that's it. These security systems have a whole bunch more capability than that.
Oh yeah, there are security systems that connect to your garage door, and it will notify you that you left your garage door open, and then you can tap a button and it will close it for you. I mean, that's amazing. Have you ever gotten that call from your neighbor that said, hey, you left your garage door open?
Absolutely. I have
before too. Something kicks out in front of it or whatever, and you just have no idea. Or at night, you get up in the morning. I mean, I live in a pretty urban area. You don't. You're kind of out in the country. So
very rural.
You wouldn't matter if you left your garage door open much.
We don't have a garage door. We just, it's really just a big opening.
Just leave it open.
No, there is no door.
Come on in.
No, there's no door. There's no garage door. That's not true. I do have a garage door.
But if I were to leave mine open, there's a real possibility that somebody could potentially walk by at night and help themselves. So me leaving my garage door open at night I fear that.
Sure.
So if I have a sensor that tells me, hey buddy, you left that open.
Yeah.
I can just push a button.
And the ability to close it from wherever you are. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
It's fantastic.
We talked a little bit about smart locks. I have a keyless entry on my front door, but it requires a code. So I'm still using my hand in the moment that I'm standing on my front patio. I'm still using my hand to open the door, but
you were a very early adopter of that because I had never actually seen one before until I'd been to your house.
Yeah, it was something that the manufacturer, Kwikset actually is the manufacturer of the keyless entry that I have, and they make so many options now. That's been on my house for 10 or 12 years probably or more. But it's very cool not having to have a key and being able to change the code and then being able to have a code for other people. And also, Corey, you can actually give out a one-time code where the code will work one time. And then after that, it doesn't work anymore. So if someone's coming over to do a thing, drop off a package or whatever, they get one opportunity to open that door with that code, and then that code doesn't work again.
That's cool.
So there's lots of very cool things about that, but mine doesn't have the ability to open when my phone reaches a certain proximity.
Yeah.
I mean, when you walk out to the car and you get within, 12 or 13 inches of it, the door can actually come open on some vehicles. Very interesting.
Newer cars, they have that sensor built in, so as you get closer, they unlock.
Yeah.
Like you said, some of them pop open. My wife's car that we just got her has this kick thing on the tailgate. You kick it underneath.
The hatchback
And
comes
then,
open.
it comes open automatically. I'm like, that's really cool. And then you just kick it again, and it closes down for you.
Yeah.
Your hands are full. I mean, they're making such, leaps in technology, like the smart lock situation that we were just talking about. Now they're connecting to Wi-Fi, and now you can get notified when someone's at your door. You have a Ring Cam. You have this little camera on the front as a doorbell. They push that, and you say, I've been expecting you. Let me get on my phone and unlock the door for you. You know exactly how long they're there, when they're leaving. They can push the button. I had to do that with the Killers. I don't have the smart lock, but they got on my Ring Cam, and the Killers is our pest service that we use. And he pushed the little button. I talked to him, and I said, all right, yeah, you're good to go. Side gate's unlocked. He did his thing, and then he came back in the front, pushed it again, and said, hey, I'm done. Thanks. It was just super cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
It's something that you would never think about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
15 years ago. It's just the technology just did not exist.
Another way to communicate with someone who's expecting to see you face to face, but you're not there, and being able to communicate with them in that moment in that way, they know that they're there, which takes all of that,
right?
Temptation to do something that you wouldn't do if someone was there. It takes that sort of off the table.
Yeah. It's they're fantastic. Smart cameras, I guess I would call that one. The next one on the list is smart plugs and smart outlets. And this is something that I have invested in recently, actually. Over the last few months, I've been buying more of these smart plugs. They're just a one outlet deal that connects to your Wi-Fi, and it connects to my Siri, and I can plug it into any outlet, and you plug your device into that. So, for instance, a Christmas tree. You can plug a Christmas tree into it, and you name it. I call it the Christmas tree, and I can even put it in its particular room. Like, we'll have other lighting up and over the windows and, on the inside of the house, and I can say, hey, turn on Christmas. All of these little switches around the house, turn on our little Christmas village, turn on the Christmas tree, the kitchen Christmas tree, so it's fantastic. I love it. And I bought some more for the outside. So now I have all of my outdoor lights that aren't just on timers, that are on very specific things. I can set it to say, hey, turn on at sunset. Not necessarily when it's just dark, but when it's actual sunset at, 5:21 or whenever that time is through the season.
It's got a photo cell attached to a photo cell.
No,
it's cell is reading it. Oh, it's doing it.
It's all
based
digital.
on what the internet is
sunset.
telling you
Correct.
sunset is.
Yeah, and then I can say turn on for 3 hours or turn on and turn off at, 11 p.m. or whatever I want it to do. It's programmable, but it takes it to the next step. And if I'm laying in bed and all of those lights are on, I can just grab my phone, push a button, and turn them all off. Or I can tell Siri, I can just tell her, hey, turn off the outdoor lights. Boom, done. It's very cool.
That is interesting.
Next one on the list, Tony, is smart blinds.
Smart blinds and curtains, yeah.
Have you ever seen smart blinds?
I mean, I hadn't, of course, before Evolved Home, which is who you were referring to earlier.
Right.
Of course, you and I did a lot of shows with them. We saw them at the Portland Home and Garden Show, and they had all of their wares on display there, showing what services they provide. And, of course, motorized blinds and curtains was one of the things that they offered.
I know, that's something that I would never think of. Smart blinds. But if you think about it, like I've been in people's homes where they have windows that are very high up. And, like I have a southern facing window that's, like a big bank of windows that just looks really cool with the big cathedral ceiling, but you can't have blinds up there because you can never reach them.
Sure,
right?
sure. Kind of like blinds on the skylight in in a vaulted room.
So as the sun's coming down, it's blinding everybody, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, with smart blinds and smart curtains, they're battery operated, but they connect to your Wi-Fi and they connect to your system, so you can program them to follow the sun, so they can come down at certain times of the day, and not just like at certain times of the day. Like, you can program them to the sun, so they will come down at a different time of day depending on what time of year it is.
The sun's position in the sky.
Exactly. Like in the winter time, the sun hangs lower and it might come across that window bank all day. But in the summer, it might only come across it at certain times.
Yeah.
So being able to program that and operate those, you can have them come up in the morning. You can have it roll up. All your blinds roll up at 6 a.m. Instead of an alarm. You can have all your blinds roll up.
Man.
Same thing at night. Have them roll down. Yeah, so, that's just another thing that is smart.
That's the way to wake up.
Think about.
That's the way to wake up in the morning, just like that.
I agree.
You're laying in bed, and it's time to get up. If it's not time to get up, then it's not the way to wake up. On a Saturday morning when
blackout curtains, baby.
Yeah, on a Saturday morning when you want to sleep in, that's not the way. But when you have to get up and start your day anyways, having the curtains open and the sun shine in and, soft music come on and the lights, come up halfway and the shower starts running and, the hot water starts to heat up.
You feel like Richie Rich.
And the coffee pot starts brewing your favorite cup of coffee. And you feel like George Jetson.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, or his boy Elroy.
Yeah, or you leave in the Roomba, the vacuum comes out and starts cleaning all the floors
right behind you
while you're gone.
Yeah.
It's the future is here.
Yeah.
Really, if you just want to go out, you can really adjust certain aspects of your life. Like we just talked about, the next one on the list, smart appliances. Smart appliances are anything that connects, right? The coffee pot. You can now connect coffee pots to your smartphone that will notify you when the coffee's done.
Right.
That will
start upon command.
Right. It's not going to load the coffee for you. Actually, I take that back. I guarantee there's a coffee maker out there that
I'm sure.
You load a pound of coffee in and it just goes to town.
Well, they, not to get sidetracked or into the weeds, but they definitely make coffee machines now that have multiple options.
Oh, yeah.
Hot cocoa, cafe, latte, and all you do is press a button and choose one. Everything that goes into that is already inside the machine.
Right. Water.
So that's already happening. Yeah.
Yeah. How cool would that be? Like you said, just wake up to the morning and your coffee's done.
Yeah. Absolutely. Very cool.
I'm going to just throw this out there real quick. We actually have a smart refrigerator and a smart stove. Now, the refrigerator, I don't have a screen on it, but it'll notify me on my phone if I've left the door open. It'll notify me on my phone if I need a new filter, like the water filter's old. It'll tell me.
Mm-hmm.
It does all that. It'll tell me I can adjust the temperature in the freezer and the refrigerator from my phone. But the stove is a whole other thing. The stove actually has a screen.
Interesting.
It updates. It has recipes on it. It has different settings for different things. If you want to cook it, you can just push that button. But one of the other things it does, it has one of my favorite things that I use all the time, actually, is it has a thermometer that you plug in on the inside of the stove in the oven. And then you put it in, say, your piece of meat that you're cooking.
It tells you the internal meat temperature.
Well, not only does that, it knows to turn it off.
Oh.
It turns the stove off.
It adjusts heat according to the internal temp of the food you're cooking.
Yes, and then notifies me, hey, your meat's done.
Wow.
It's super cool.
That is wild.
So, anyway, yeah, the newest appliances, they are getting extremely smart.
There are also several different types of just sort of generic smart sensors, things that sense whatever you want it to sense. Something we've been talking about for several years is a sensor that tells you when moisture has gotten into a place where you don't want it.
Absolutely.
If you have places that are supposed to be dry, like underneath your soaker tub, for example, you definitely don't want water underneath your soaker tub, or behind the washing machine or dryer. Places where you don't want moisture to be near the water heater, of course. It'll tell you if you've got water introduced into those areas that'll allow you to address it before it has caused a major incident that costs a lot of money to fix.
Right. Yeah, we've talked about those. There's other things like in your irrigation water usage. So if you have sprinkler systems, there are sensors that you can put out, rain sensors that will tell the irrigation system how much rain, how much water has fallen. So it automatically adjusts its sprinkler system settings, how much water it's going to put out versus how much water it's already received from natural, rain.
Right.
I mean, that right there is super cool, but not just timing. Obviously you can have a timer on it, but we're talking smart. And one of the last ones I was going to tell you about is we have a family vacation home that we own with family.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things is, since people aren't there all of the time, we're always kind of worried about the water. So we turn the water off. Like
turn it off at the street?
Well, there's a hatch in the house, like before it comes into the house. So we just turn it off.
But still, the main water supply.
Yes. However, the sprinkler systems outside are connected to the water main before they get to the house. And a couple times over the last couple years, we've had a situation where our water bill went through the roof. I'm talking $300. They just go absolutely bonkers. So we went out and got a smart sensor for the water main that it's just like a little thing that goes onto the hose right on the pipe coming out of the water main. And there's like this little thing in there that spins as the water goes through, and it goes on the meter. And then that's connected to Wi-Fi. And it alerts us immediately if it
water
senses
is moving through.
Yeah, if it senses a water leak, somehow it knows if you're it's smart enough based on how much water's pulling through, if you're taking a shower, if you're flushing the toilet, or if there's a slow leak. It's crazy.
Wow.
So stuff like that
can save you money,
makes
but it also life easier.
Yeah, exactly. Makes your life easier. That's what having a smart home is all about.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I can't imagine that it will be much longer before I am introducing many of those things into my own personal home. I feel like I've sort of been, just limping in a little bit. Obviously, I have motion detectors and I have dimmable LED lights. We have LED lights.
Do you have a remote for your TV?
I also, yes, have a remote for my TV. I don't have voice activation, but I have a smart wife who responds to voice activation. So that works pretty good for me there.
Wow. Hope she does not hear this show.
No. Yeah, she won't.
Anyway, well, that's all we got for you. We just wanted to talk about some smart things that you could put in your home that you should consider, that I've done a few, and going through this list, I mean, I can actually think of a few more things that I want to do in my home.
Yeah. If you have questions about this, or you want to get some advice, or you want to know where you can go and get some of these things, feel free to reach out via email. You can reach us at weekendwarriors@parr.com. That's weekendwarriors@parr.com. Don't miss out on any of our social media. We're at WW Home Show, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
You name it.
We're
all
out
over
there.
the place. And keep in mind, or put this in your memory hole, we've got a big project coming out soon. We're going to start talking about it here very soon. Tony and I have been working on a YouTube video series for the last year, it feels like.
Yeah.
And we're getting ready to launch that here any minute. So we'll keep you posted on that. And thanks so much for listening.
You bet. Have a great week.